So just go ahead and close your eyes again in Shavasana and start breathing in and out through your nose. Taking nice long inhales in through your nose, nice long exhales through your nose. Establishing some sort of steady rhythm to your breath. Becoming aware of your breath, becoming aware of your body, following your breath as you breathe in and following your breath as you breathe out. And since it's so early in the morning, we're going to do a little pranayama practice this morning, which is just breath work. So I want to see how long it takes for you to inhale and how long it takes for you to exhale. So count how long it takes for you to do both. The goal here is to eventually get to Samapriti, which is equal breath in and equal breath out. So maybe you start with 3 breaths in and 3 counts out. Sorry, not 3 breaths, but 3 counts in and 3 counts out. And if you feel good, or if you feel comfortable with that, come out of your comfort zone a little bit more this morning. Maybe increase your count to 4, or maybe even increase your count to 5. And if you still feel like you need a challenge this morning, to feel a little bit uncomfortable, hold that breath at the very end of that exhale. And then take that breath in. Hold that breath on the very last inhale breath. And then take that exhale. Keep on going. See what makes you feel uncomfortable this morning. Take one more breath like this, where you're counting your breath and making yourself feel uncomfortable. And then slowly come back to that steady rhythm of breath. And if Ujjayi breath is part of your practice, you can start that now, which is that guttural breathing, that breath that you hear in the back of your throat. And then on your next inhale, begin to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Bring your hands above your head. Give yourself a really nice big stretch. Pull your knees into your chest and roll side to side. Massage that lower back, eventually rolling all the way over to your right side, using your right arm as a pillow. And then using your hands come all the way up to a cross-legged or seated position. It can be cross-legged, it can be on your knees, one leg on top of the other. But coming to that seated position, sit nice and tall. Good. Now, if you're sitting cross-legged, bring your hands to your knees, draw your elbows in towards your body. Same thing if you sit on your knees. Just make sure you're drawing your elbows in, you're sitting nice and tall, drawing that navel in towards your spine, rounding the shoulders up by your ears and away from your face, and then chin parallel to the floor. Good. Now go ahead and just gaze softly towards the end of your mat or somewhere in the room. I want you to inhale, both arms coming all the way up, reaching up overhead. And then exhale, hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Good. Inhale, both arms coming all the way up, reaching up overhead. And then exhale, hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Good. One more. Inhale, really reaching up, looking up towards your fingertips. Good. And then exhale, this time place that right hand or forearm down to the ground, left arm over your body. Good. The forearm down on the ground is going to give you a little bit more of a challenge here. And then inhale, both arms coming all the way up, reaching up overhead. And then exhale, the left hand or forearm down to the ground, right arm overhead. Good. Inhale, both arms coming all the way up, reaching up overhead. And then exhale, hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Good. Continue to walk those hands in front of you, folding forward as you go. Folding forward, letting your head come down to the ground, or your forehead, or just maybe your body, maybe your hips or lower back will stop you. Now go ahead and walk your hands all the way over to the right, keeping those hands side by side, or place the left hand on top of the right. And then walk those hands all the way through center to the left, keeping those hands side by side, or placing the right hand on top of the left. Good. Go ahead and fold forward here. Walk those hands back to center and then all the way up to your knees. We're gonna roll over your knees now, come into an all fours tabletop position. I'm just gonna fix something with my screen really fast, but get into that all fours tabletop position. Good. Hands underneath of your shoulders, knees directly beneath your hips. We're gonna do some cat-cows to warm up our spine. So I want you to inhale, really arch that back, looking up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, rounding the spine, chin to your chest. Good. Inhale, really arch that back, looking up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, rounding that spine, chin to your chest. Keep on going. Keep on moving this morning. You can add any extra movement here if you'd like. You can look over your right shoulder, or you can look over your left shoulder. Good. Keep on doing normal cat-cows. Wherever you are, go ahead and just do 2 more breaths in and out. And then whenever you have completed that last breath, come back into that neutral spine, all fours, tabletop position. Good. Now go ahead and curl those back toes under. Good. And just lift those knees. So you're going to hover those knees above the mat. So you're going to activate that core. Nice flat back here. Keep on holding it for 3, 2, 1. And then continue to lift those hips. Round that spine, lift those hips, come into that downward facing dog. It's your first downward dog of the day. So go ahead and pedal your feet back and forth, bending one knee and then the other knee. Really rooting the palms of your hands into the mat. So you're getting rid of the weight in the wrists. Good. And then I want you to inhale, come all the way back onto your toes, and then exhale, bend those knees, coming into that all fours tabletop position, but hovering those knees above the mat. Good. Exhale, round the spine, lift those hips, coming to that downward facing dog. Good. Now I want you to inhale, come all the way up onto the toes, and then exhale, come back into that hovering knees tabletop position. Good. Last one. Hold it here in that hovering knees position for 3, 2, 1, and then lift those hips, come into the downward facing dog. Good. Now inhale, come all the way up onto your toes, and then exhale, step or walk your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, coming halfway. Hands can come to your shins or to your fingertips, and then exhale, fold forward. Grabbing opposite elbows, opposite hands here for ragdoll. You can have a slight bend in your knees and draw your chest towards your thighs. And just shake your head yes, shake your head no, just making sure you're not holding tension anywhere here. Good. Slowly release those hands down to the mat. And I want you to inhale, rounding the spine, coming all the way up to a standing position. So we're going to get going this morning. We're going to get moving. We're going to do 3 sun salutations. So take a step towards the front of your mat. Feet are hip distance apart. And I want you to inhale, both arms coming all the way up, reaching up overhead. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming halfway. Hands can come to your shins or fingertips. And then exhale, step back into that plank position. Good. Hold it here in plank. Use that core. And then exhale, bring those knees down to the mat. Hips and belly follow, coming flat onto the ground. Inhale, stay nice and low, low cobra. Good. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Now inhale, come all the way up onto your toes, and then exhale, step or walk your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, bringing the hands up overhead, looking up towards your fingertips, and then exhale, hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Good. Now we're going to do 2 more of these. Inhale, both arms coming all the way up, reaching up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway, and then exhale, step back into that plank position. Good. You can certainly lower those knees down this time, or this time just lower halfway. Roll over those toes, lift your chest, come into an upward facing dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. 1 more. Inhale, come all the way up onto your toes, and then exhale, step or walk your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, bringing the hands up overhead. And then exhale, hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Last one. Good. Inhale, both arms coming all the way up, reaching up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale halfway, and then exhale, step back into that plank position. Good. Your choice, knees down or lower halfway. Making your way into a downward facing dog. Good. Now inhale, come all the way up onto your toes, and then exhale, step or walk your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale halfway, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, hands up overhead. And then exhale, hands are prayer in front of your heart center. Good. Take a moment to breathe here. All right, we are going to move on to our sequences. We're going to kind of be all over our mat. So it may get tricky times, but I'll try to talk you through all of that. So come to the front of your mat, feet or hip distance again. We're going to inhale, both arms coming all the way up. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale halfway, and then exhale, step back into that plank position. Good. Your choice. Again, we've done a couple of these. So knees down, halfway, whatever you would like. Make your way into a downward facing dog. Good. Now I want you to inhale, right leg up to the ceiling. Bend that right knee. Open up your hips. Look underneath that right shoulder. Good. And then bring that right leg all the way through to the front of the mat. Inhale, both hands coming all the way up. So you're in high lunge here. Right foot is in front, and that is bent. Left leg is behind you and straight. Good. Hands up overhead, high lunge here. Good. Now, I want you to go ahead and bring that left hand down to the mat. Inhale, right hand down to the mat, left arm up to the ceiling. Good, so you're opening up your chest. Now, bring that left hand down to the mat. Inhale, right arm up to the ceiling. Opening up here. Good. Now bring both hands down to the mat. Now sink down a tad bit deeper into that lunge. So you're in a high runner's lunge. Both hands are down, and you're going to lift your chest up toward the front of the room. Keeping that back leg lifted, you're going to walk that right foot out. So walk that right foot out. Right, you can't see it on my screen, but you're going to walk that foot out as far as you can. The toes are facing out, heels are coming at you. Good. Now, I want you to inhale that right arm up overhead again. Right arm up overhead. Good. And you're going to bring that right hand behind you. Come to the outsides of each of your feet. Good. Sinking down into the mat. Good. Now, I want you to inhale, coming all the way back up. Good. And then we're going to do it a couple more times. Exhale. Come to the outsides of both of your feet. Sinking down into the mat. Good. Inhale. Coming all the way back up. Last one. Good. Sink down. Bring that hand behind you. Come to the outsides of both of your feet. So you're finding it to be a hip opener. Good. And then inhale, coming all the way back up. Good. Place both hands down onto the mat, and then that back knee can come all the way down onto the ground. Good. Now inhale, low lunge here, sinking deep into those hips. All right. And then place that left hand down onto the ground again. Bend that back leg. Bend that back foot. This may be the furthest you can go, or see if you can grab a hold of that foot with your right hand. Good. You're really seeing if you can open up that front leg. That front leg comes out to the side again. Grab a hold of those toes if you can, and then let go of that foot. Bring both hands down to the mat, and then step back into a downward facing dog. Good. All right, so we're going to do the same thing, but on the other side. So you'll be able to see it now this time. So I want you to inhale the left leg up to the ceiling. Bend that left knee. Open up your hips. Look underneath that left shoulder. Good. Bring that left leg all the way through to the front of the mat. And then inhale, both hands coming all the way up with control if you can. I seem to not have my balance this morning. So high lunge here. Left leg is in front, and that is bent. Right leg is behind you and straight. Good. Now, left hand down to the mat. Inhale, right arm up to the ceiling. Stack those shoulders on top of each other. Open up your chest towards the ceiling. And then bring that right hand down. Inhale, left arm up to the ceiling. Again, opening up your chest here. Good. Now bring both hands down. Sink down into that front knee a little bit more so you're in high runner's lunge. Both hands are down onto the ground and you're gonna just lift your chest towards the front of the room. Keep that back leg lifted. All right, so here comes the fun part. Walk that left foot out. Left foot comes out, toes out, heels coming towards you. Good, and keep that right hand down onto the ground. Inhale, left arm up to the ceiling. And you're gonna bring that left arm behind you. Come to the outsides of your feet. Good, sink down into those hips. Inhale, coming all the way back up. And then exhale, lower down again. Good, inhale, coming all the way back up. And then last one, exhale, sink down into those hips. Look over those left fingertips. Good. All right, inhale, coming all the way back up. Place both hands down onto the mat. Walk that foot back in. Knee can finally come down. Good. Inhale, low lunge here, hands up overhead, sinking down into those hips. And then place that right hand down onto the ground. Bend that back knee. Good. Now, you may not be able to grab a hold of that foot. If you can't, that's fine. So eventually, see where you can go. See if you can eventually grab a hold of it. Once you grab a hold of it, then open up your knee to the side. Good. And then let go of that foot. Bring both legs down, both hands down to the mat, and step back into a downward facing dog. Good. All right, so I want you to inhale, come all the way up onto your toes, and then exhale, step or walk your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, hands up overhead. And then exhale, hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Good. All right, so this next sequence is where we're going to be all over our mat. I will try to walk you through as much as I can. So I want you to inhale, both arms coming all the way up, reaching up overhead, and then exhale, fold forward. Inhale halfway, and then exhale, step back into that plank position. You choose. You can bring your knees down, you can lower halfway, or you can just make your way into a downward dog, skipping that part. Good. So we're in downward dog. I want you to come back into a plank position. Plank position. Good. Now bring that left hand to the middle of your mat. Feet together, and we're going to roll our feet, come into a side plank position here. Right hand can come to your hip or all the way up to the ceiling. You can certainly drop that left knee down to the mat if you need to as well. Good. Now we're not going to stay here long. I want you to bring your right foot and tap it over the front, and then I want you to tap it behind you. You can do this with your knee down. Tap it in front, tap it behind you. Again, one more. Tap it in front, and then tap it behind you. And this time when you tap it, I want you to bring your right foot more to the middle of your mat. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to turn so you can see my thing. Good. So my right foot is here. Now I want you to see if you can rotate all the way around. So you're going to turn to your left. Rotate all the way around. So you're now facing the side of your mat. And your right knee is bent, left leg is straight. Good. So right knee is bent, left leg is straight, and your hands are in prayer. Good. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Left knee now is bent, right leg is straight. Hope you followed. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Right knee is bent. Hold it here. Left leg is straight. See if you can hold it here for 3, 2, 1. Good. And then come all the way back up. Open up your arms. Rotate those feet. Come into a warrior 2 now. So right knee is still bent, left leg is straight, but you are in a warrior 2, looking out over your right fingertips. Good. All right, right forearm coming to the thigh, left arm overhead. Inhale, coming all the way back up, left arm to that back leg, reverse warrior, and then pinwheel your hands all the way down to the mat. Step back into that plank position, and then lower down your version of that chaturanga, knees down, or halfway, or completely skipping it all together. Good. All right, so now we just have to do one more of these confusing sequences. All right, come back into your plank position. Plank position. We brought our left hand to the middle of the mat. We're going to bring our right hand to the middle of our mat. Stack those heels on top of each other. Come into that side plank position. Left hand can come to your hip. Right knee can certainly come down if you need to, or keep those hips lifted. You're going to lift that left leg, bring it in front of you, tap it in front, tap it behind. Tap it in front, tap it behind you. Good. One more. Tap it in front and tap it behind you. Good. This last one, bring that left foot to the middle of your mat. Good. Here is where you do that crazy twist, and you're going to come all the way around. Open up, twisting here. Come to the side of your mat. Left knee is bent. Right leg is straight. Hands to prayer in front of your heart center. So I'm going to turn so you can see me. Left knee is bent. Right leg is straight. Hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Lift up. Right knee is bent. Left leg is straight. One more. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Left knee is bent. Right leg is straight. Hold it here for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Open up your hips, rotate those feet, come into that warrior 2. Left knee is bent, right leg is straight. Good job, guys. I don't know if you followed, but hopefully you did. Give yourself a good pat on the back. Good. Left forearm to the thigh, right arm overhead. Extended side angle. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Reverse warrior. And then pin with your hands all the way down to the mat. And step back into that plank position. You can do one chaturanga, or you can step back into a downward facing dog. Good. All right, inhale, come all the way up onto your toes, and then exhale, step or walk your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way, bringing the hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Good. Virtual classes are good and bad. You're by yourself, but then sometimes you can't really see what's going on. So hopefully you guys all followed that. We are almost done with our standing practice today. So we're gonna end with a tree pose, a balancing pose, a tree pose. Hopefully you are feeling like a balanced yogi this morning. So we're gonna come into our Tadasana pose. Feet are hip distance apart. Now you can either be on or off your mat, and then you have the luxury of having walls everywhere around you. Feel free to use them if you want to. Good. Come into your Tadasana pose. Legs are active. You know your legs are active by your kneecaps lifting, draw your navel in towards your spine. Activate that core, and then round the shoulders up away from your ears. Squeeze those shoulder blades together behind your back. Good. Bring those hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Shift your weight to your right foot. Inhale the left leg up to the ceiling. Left leg comes to the inside of your right thigh, right shin, or grounding that foot into the ground. Good. Wherever you are, pretend that your hips have headlights on them and you want them facing forward, square towards the front of the room. Good. Now, if you feel like really good this morning and you want to challenge yourself, bring those hands up overhead. And bring those hands so they are shoulder width apart. Eventually, your gaze is going to go up at the ceiling, but you may need to look down if you feel unbalanced. You may need to feel grounded this morning. Good. Bring those hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Slowly come out of it. That might be the hardest part of any balancing pose, is coming out of it gracefully. If you don't come out of it gracefully too, that is totally fine. Get out of it however you can. And then just give yourself a shake. You probably held tension in places that we shouldn't have held tension. So come back into your Tadasana pose. Good. Shift your weight. Legs active, core active, round that shoulders away from your ears. Shift your weight to your left foot this time. Hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Bring that right foot on the inside of the left thigh, shin, or if you need grounding, toes on the ground, hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Good. Again, same thing goes. Make sure those hips are square towards the front of the room. It's easy to turn one way or the other. Good. And then if you want to challenge yourself, bring those hands up overhead and slowly bring those hands shoulder width apart. Good. Bring those hands to prayer in front of your heart center. Slowly bring it all the way back. Gracefully come out of this. Go ahead, bring that foot down out of tree pose. Good. Give yourself a nice big shake. Yay, and believe it or not, we are done with the standing practice this morning. So good job, yay. We're gonna come into our seated practice from Tadasana Pose or squat pose. Toes out wide, heels coming together. We're gonna bend our knees, come all the way down into that squat position, hands to prayer in front of your heart center. If your heels do not go all the way down to the ground, that's fine. You can have them, you can be up on your toes, or you can eventually roll something and place them underneath of your heels. Good. Hands to prayer in front of your heart center, sit nice and tall. Left hand down, inhale. Right arm up to the ceiling. Hands to prayer in front of your heart center, sit nice and tall. Right hand down, inhale. Left arm up to the ceiling. Good. Hands to prayer in front of your heart center. And then go ahead and take a seat down onto the mat. Good. Good job, guys. I know that was sometimes hard, maybe hard to follow, maybe even be physically hard. So just be proud of whatever you just did. Get those legs together, feet together. We have a tendency to want to bring our feet out to get away from that stretch. Get our feet together, legs active. Inhale, both hands coming all the way up. Draw that navel in towards the spine, and then exhale, fold forward. Grabbing a hold of those toes any way you can. If that means significantly bending your knees, do that. Just every exhale, challenge yourself a little bit more. Straighten those legs a tad bit more. Every exhale, straighten or fold a little bit deeper. Good. I would rather you be leading with your chest flat back than a rounded spine. Good. Take one more big breath in and out. And then inhale, slowly coming all the way back up. Bends that right knee comes on the inside of that left thigh. And I want you to inhale, both arms coming all the way up. Exhale, fold forward over that straight leg. Grab a hold of those toes. Same thing goes if you need to bend that knee to get a hold of those toes. Do that and fold forward. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Keeping that right leg bent, just bring the right leg over top of the left. Good. Making sure that right foot is flat into the mat. Inhale, left arm up to the ceiling, left elbow to the outside of that right knee. Inhale, sit nice and tall. Then exhale, twisting towards the back of the room. Inhale, turn your head, the rest of the body will follow. Good, straighten both legs out in front of you. This time bend the left foot comes on the inside of the right thigh. Flex that right foot, activate that leg. Inhale, both arms coming all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Grabbing a hold of those toes, even if it means bending that knee. And also, for future reference, you can place anything underneath of that knee, or you can sit on something that helps you rotate those hips a little bit more. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Keep that left knee bent. Just cross that left leg over top of that right. Good. Make sure that left foot is flat into the mat. Inhale, right arm up to the ceiling, right elbow to the outside of that knee. Inhale, sit nice and tall, and then exhale, twisting towards the back of the room. Inhale, turn your head, the rest of the body follows. Good, straighten both legs out in front of you. Good, bring both feet in, come into that butterfly position, both feet in. So you're bringing your heels in closer towards your glutes. Good. Open up your feet like you're reading a book. Sit nice and tall if you can. If you're already hunched, then maybe you won't fold very far forward. And then go ahead and as you fold forward, leading with your chest, push those elbows into the legs to go down a little bit deeper. Good. Now again, if you're rounded, don't go down. Stay up and eventually, slowly, every exhale, go a little bit deeper. Pulse with your breath. Go a tad bit more. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Get those legs together. Straighten both legs out in front of you, and then start to roll vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down onto your backs. Good. Legs out wide, palms face the ceiling, and then just go ahead and close your eyes. Take one big breath in, and then exhale, let it all go. Let go of anything from this practice, anything that worked well, anything that didn't work, just let it go. Let go of everything, anything else that's going on right now for the next 30 seconds. On your next breath, begin to wiggle those toes, wiggle your fingers. Bring your hands above your head, give yourself a really nice big stretch. Pull those knees into your chest and roll all the way over to your right side using your right arm as a pillow. And then using your hands, come all the way up to that cross-legged or one leg over top of each other or on your knees. Come to that seated position, keeping your eyes closed. Bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart center. And go ahead and bow your head with gratitude for this morning's practice. Namaste.